Morning, BrewTube. AZ Homebrewer, coming back with another beer. This is going to be my last one before I shut it down during summertime. Now, some of you guys might say, summertime, that's when it's the best time to brew. Well, Arizona, it's hot as fucking Hades here, so I choose not to brew during summertime, but I do a lot of brewing before then, and then I basically just kind of ration it out throughout the summertime. So today I'm brewing a Biére De Garde. It's another Belgian beer, and if you stick around long enough, you'll see when I'm making it. Okay, so here's my Biére De Garde blonde that I'm doing. Very little additions as for mash salts and sparge salts, which is something that I also do now too, is sparge water and normal mash. I can't change that part. That's the reason why I have it in double parentheses. If you notice here, I have lactic acid as a 0,0, is because I'll adjust that on the fly when I get my first pH down here. So, if that's what I'm hitting right there, I'll put that number in there, and this will tell me where how much lactic acid I'm going to add down here at the bottom. So it's a very simple grain bill: 10 pounds Pilsner, 3 pounds Vienna, 1 pound aromatic malt, Northern Brewers Sapphire, the typical normal stuff right there. So this is basically the beginning of it. It's a nice pretty grain bill, and so let's get to brewing. So this blonde, as you can see, I have a different little mash schedule, basically. So right now I'm heating my strike water up to 161, 162 degrees. That's going to mash at a low temperature, for an hour. And then essentially how I was able to get this program to work it is I raise it up to 168 degrees for 20 minutes and let it sit for another 10 minutes, so half hour. And then I go and sparge out, or fly sparge out. So it's a new one for me. I've never done this version before, but I've never done the Biére De Garde either. So I'm heating up the water, getting ready to start mashing in. Okay, as you can see, I don't know if I've done a video on this one before or not, but my strike rider is pretty much right up to the striking temp. About right now it's reading about 144, given the camera angle. So I got to go down 1 more degree, which is fine. But it gives me time to show you that I've already got this this whole line primed up and ready to go. I found that doing a continuous Vorloft during my mashing cycle is very beneficial. One, it keeps a constant temp throughout, as well as I make sure that the wort is constantly cleaned during the process. But I do wait for about 10 minutes after I start mashing in before I turn this on, because if I do it too quick before the grain has been absorbed the water, it's going to really compact the grain bed, and then I'm not going to get anything out of this thing. So I got to watch myself from essentially having a stuck sparge. Obviously I can control it with my output handle, but yeah, about ready to mash in. Alright, that little noise right there as you hear me doing my continuous Vorloft back on top. I'm about 1 degree above what I'm supposed to be for my mashing in. So inside, basically, how well you can see that is, so I'm having a constant Vorloft, and already up on top you can see how kind of clear the wort is already. So here in a little bit I'm going to go and take a mash reading and see what kind of adjustments I have to do for my lactic acid, if anything. I'm shooting for a 5.5 pH. Alright, there's my Milwaukee pH 56. Turn that sucker on. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this while I'm in here. So Beersmith thinks I'm going to be around a 5.6, and you can see right there that I'm at a 5.66, 5.67, 5.69, 5.7. So still in the 5-6 range. I'm going to turn that off. And because I want to get down to a 5.5 pH, that's what I'm going to have to do. Hopefully you guys don't get dizzy. Okay, as you can see, sorry about the technical difficulties, is put in my mash numbers that I got earlier. My target pH is 5.5, my acid concentration is 88%, and so the amount I added was 3.2 milliliters. So I'm going to go check my mash right now to see where I'm at. Alright, turn her on. Alright. So put it in there. 6, 5.5. Get a little bit lower, a little 5.3. This might even out once I add my sparge water. Oh, even 5.2, 5.3, I'm good with that. So maybe I'll take another pH adjustment or addition when I add my sparge water. Other than that, just basically sit around and wait. Okay, now I'm in, I raised the temperature. For now it's going to be about a half an hour. A couple degrees above where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be about 168 and about 172. So I went ahead and took the lid back off so I can kind of aerate this thing out, kind of cool it down. You see, hopefully you can see it. Hard to see out here in the daytime. But how nice and pretty color that wort's becoming. And how clean it is too. And it, you know, the constant recirculation. It's getting there. Enjoying it. Even with it being a little bit of a longer mash schedule than I'm used to. But here in about half an hour, I'm going to be transferring to the boil kettle. Okay, now that my mash is all done, I got my whole system set up for my fly sparge. It's all primed, so I just wanted to wait to show you guys before I started putting everything together. So essentially, I'm going to flip these two switches, come up here, turn that down a little bit, and here, there we go. That nice, beautiful freaking beer. So that's going to fill up all the way up to about the, I think, almost 7 or 6.5 gallon mark, somewhere around there. And then it's off to boiling the wort and adding all the yummy additions. Alright, by that sound, I got wort heating up. About 6.5 gallons. So I went about a half gallon over what I needed to do, and that's fine. I'm not going to waste it. And see when I start boiling. Okay, I got myself a rolling boil. Like I said earlier, I pulled about 6.5 gallons instead of 6, which is fine. My end of running gravity was 1026, and it always has a default of 1010. And then my pre-boil gravity, I was under by 1 point, so this came in at 1060 instead of 1061. And at least as of right now, Beersmith is calculating this to be about a 78% mash efficiency out of this thing. I know ever since I've been basically doing the Vorloft, my efficiency has gone up dramatically, so I do recommend doing a continuous Vorloft during your mashing cycle. Other than that, you'll see me at the 60-minute mark when I do my first hop addition. So, like any good home brewer out there, when you're making homebrew, you drink homebrew. This right here is a Saison that I just tapped last week. Came out excellent, 6.3%. This was a redo from my January brew, not the other Saison video that's on my list. This is version 3. The version 2 was a dumper. Because for Christmas, the wife was nice enough to get me a new boil kettle, the SS Brewtech boil kettle, and so excited I forgot to do a proper wash of it first time up. So I wound up picking up a lot of metallic flavorings in my beer. So basically my Saison tastes like a freaking penny. So I had to do a rebrew before summertime, and this is it. It came out very, very nice. I entered this beer into another beer competition that's being done later on this mid next month, actually. So, like, anyways, cheers. Okay, so about another minute and a half, and I add my next my 20-minute edition. And this sucker's almost done with the boil. And this time you'll be able to see me start transferring it into my new conical that I use. Like I'm sure like most people do, we have a system of how we add all our hops. Obviously solo cup. And basically the day before or a couple days before I'll pre-measure everything out and then put it in the respective cup. So then basically I'll just come up here. Lickety split, nice and easy. Nothing else really much different than that. Also at the 20-minute mark, that's when I go ahead and start prepping everything, sanitizing my fermenter, start sanitizing all the lines. They're basically getting everything ready for the end of the boil work, including setting up the chill plate, getting the ice water ready, priming the pumps. I get all that stuff taken care of, so that way as soon as that timer goes off, I kill all the heat. I'll whirlpool for about 15 minutes, which is a new addition now to my brew process. Won't really see much, I'll show it to you anyway. So then I whirlpool for about 15 minutes, I let it sit for about 15, and then I bring it in. Okay, that noise you're hearing is a water pump. You've seen this in a couple other videos before. Got 40 pounds of ice going up into my plate chiller right here, and then that's coming out into my reservoir pump. So I'm running it right now. I'm going trying to chill down this freaking this plate chiller first while I'm getting ready. I'm almost ready to start whirlpooling this sucker, and basically we're just opening up that valve and turning on the pump. Have that thing boil off for a while with a long pipe in there. So I'll be doing that here very momentarily. Alright, another thing is, out of the plate chiller, I got my line coming right here into my nice and new sanitized conical. You can even open it up a little bit, that's star sand coming out. So I'm not worried about it being right there. So that's all ready to go. I actually raised the table by using that crank. It actually raises and lowers the table, and I found that very beneficial to oddball sizes like this. So instead of trying to always put it in a bucket and then trying to pour it in that, just raise up the table and put it in that way. So I'm about 4 minutes out from starting my whirlpool, and after that it's basically physically shaking this bastard to bring it down to temp in here. Stick around. Okay, I got the whirlpool on. That's going to go around for a few minutes, and then I shut the pump off, transfer it to the plate chiller, and it goes right in my conical. So we're almost done with this brew day. Woohoo! Alright, sorry guys you didn't get to see the action. You know what happens when someone nerdy kind of is around you and they don't get the hint about to fucking leave. Well, I was trying to entertain them while I'm trying to freaking do this, and I couldn't do 3 things at once, so sorry about that. So I got my wort in here, overboiled just a little bit, so I actually had to dilute it back down some. So I haven't shot it with any O2 yet. I'm about ready to connect the water lines and turn on the temp control sensor to see where my wort's at right about now before I go ahead and pitch. So basically it's you know, essentially done. All I gotta do is add O2, pitch to the yeast, and connect this to my conical, and then should be fermenting.